reconciliation to say that we acknowledge we're on the homeland of the many diverse First Nations and Métis people whose ancestors have walked this land since time immemorial. We are grateful to work, live, and learn on the traditional territory of Treaty 8. First agenda item is to adopt the agenda, and our CAO has just handed out one alteration, which would be correspondence 14.1, the letter from McSteel. So that'll be an addition. Anything else?
No, I'm just going to say as amended.
Okay, just before we do, is there any other changes? Seeing none, all in favor? Carried. And then we move right on. Your good timing, you arrived just in time. It's time for the scheduled delegations, so that would be you. And you can come up to the front on the mic. And yeah, you can both come up if you'd like. Just so that you know, we, for schedule.
Yes, Paulina's talking.
Oh,
Please do it.
yeah.
It's the cat's fault.
It's,
Yes,
yeah.
it is. Absolutely.
So just a little bit about how we run the scheduled delegations. You've got 15 minutes to make your presentation to council, what you wanted to say, and we'd like you usually to start, because we do record these meetings. They are online for people to see. So you would just start off with sort of who you are, so that people in Cyberland will know who's coming in to talk with us. And I'll turn it over to you.
All right. My name is Paulina Shikawi. This is my husband, Ibrahim Shikawi. And we are the owners of one of our rental properties on 47th Street. The address is 5324 47th Street. The reason why I am here today is to talk about the fire bill that we got from the town when that house was caught on fire. I have talked to my insurance company. They are not covering it. Any rental, they do not cover fire. I do not know why. I have asked them, what kind of policy is this? What kind of insurance is this? How is this supposed to help me? And they say, well, unfortunately, because you are a rental from the primary residence, you only get covered for very basic, for the rental itself, if anything happens to it. But anything that happens in the town, the fire is not included. So my request is, if you could, well, I actually have a question before I have a request. First question would be, why is my property tax not covering the fire bill?
Well, I can say that quite a while ago, the town implemented a policy where we tried to recoup some of our costs on that. And and it's proving very successful. I don't know the exact amounts that we bring in. Maybe our CAO might know off the top of his head, but we bring in quite a, overall in the budget for fire. It really helps. If we did not do that, the costs to run the fire department, we'd have to increase everybody's rent by another, I don't know what it is, but like 2% or something like that. So it's either, what's that? Oh, it'd be a 5% increase if we didn't have that policy. So that's the reason behind it, is we said, you know what, we either raise everybody's taxes or we put in this policy and hope that everybody gets their insurance that they should have.
If it's your primary residence, no issue.
Yeah, and so are you saying that you're, I know I'm covered on my primary residence, but I don't know, is this a policy for all, or a different, you pay more and you can get it? No insurance companies cover rentals?
Because I've asked, I said, okay, this company that's covering me now, they don't cover rental.
Anything's rental.
So you can't get,
You can get fired on it. And the other downside of it is that rather than having it they give you only cash value, they don't give you replacement value. If ever something happens to your residence.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Right? So this is all within all the policies. I've asked different insurance companies, they say hardly anybody will cover you. Because it's a rental, it's not your primary residence. You take care of your primary, do you actually take care of your rentals? It's up to the renters to take care of it. And they have their own supposedly insurance.
Okay, so that's news to me.
Me too.
Yeah, like I've never heard of that.
I've never had ever, so I've never had to
Well,
look into it,
and
right?
hopefully you never have to, yeah.
I know.
Like, this is like the afterwards, you know, my house caught on fire, this is what happened. I have a fire bill, can you pay for it? No, sir, not covered. Like, nothing you can do? No, it's in your policy. You can read every single thing. Okay. So, I guess next question would be, are you able to lower the cost of it? The bill itself currently, not including penalties, is $7,759.50.
And then the penalties have got it up to 8,000?
Yes.
Is that what I'm seeing on your letter here?
That is correct, yeah,
Yep.
so it's now $8,069.88, which includes the interest of $310.38.
Yeah, and I saw on your letter reading that that the insurance company took a while to get back to you. And that's probably, you were waiting on that, and that's what got the interest going on, right?
Because what I had asked, and they said, yeah, it will become, well, I had an email right from the beginning, maybe, say a month in, and they said, well, this is something that we have to review, your entire policy, we have to see what's going on, and then we will get back to you and let you know whether it's covered or not. A month goes by, another month goes by, oh, no, you're not covered. Thanks.
Okay, so, and you're here to request what? I just want to make sure we're clear on the ask.
Yeah, for sure. I'm requesting to see if you can lower, or even if it's better for me, if I didn't have to pay for it at all. But what's the best that you can do? Because I mean, I can't pay that amount. That was definitely not a bill I was expecting.
I can say what we will likely do is look into, like you're making one claim that I would like to know more about and have our administration look into is insurance on rental properties. And this is just me thinking, is saying, okay, if you cannot get insurance even through different providers, get rental insurance, that will make a big difference in how I think it should be dealt with. So I would like our administration to look into that. And we could get back to you in, I don't know how long they'll need, but at least at next council meeting, we can make a final decision on that and go from there.
Okay, are you required for us to stop by at the next council meeting when you guys make a decision? Or I will get it in mail, or email, whichever. Like, do you need us to be present for the next?
No,
meeting?
you would not have to be present. We'd just bring it up and then we would be able to make a decision and administration would notify you by phone or by email or,
Okay, I have another thing though. Now that it is vacant, will my tax still lower next year?
it should be reassessed and you would be, yes.
Okay.
Is that safe to say? I want to make sure I'm not speaking, but it makes perfect sense that it should be lower, like, it should be.
Whether it's empty or not is not the issue, it's really what the assessor will see, the degradation and the value of the property.
Yeah.
Because
Eventually in time, we're hoping that we're
because of the fire, right, obviously, you can't sell it for
Anything.
we're gonna
as much
eventually
as
want to demolish
if it
it.
was.
That's the goal.
Yeah, we're gonna have to remove that.
So if it was demolished, then you would only be taxed on the value of the land, not on the property. So the sooner you demolish, lower your taxes will get.
Let's do it.
But
right.
on the first point, as a property renter myself, the insurance market does provide rental insurance. Perhaps your company doesn't. You're correct to say that if you're renting to renters, The renter, the tenants are responsible for having tenant insurance, which will cover their real property.
Oh, I have renter's insurance. It's not that I don't have renter's insurance. It's the fact that renter's insurance only covers market value for anything that happens to the building.
Right.
And they do not cover fire.
They don't cover that fire yet.
Right, so there is renter's insurance in place.
Right.
Just
I'm
doesn't
saying the
cover.
company I deal with, I have full coverage on my properties that I'm renting. So there is coverage available in the marketplace. I guess the second point is, it's true that tenants are required to have their own insurance
Yes,
to cover their tenants, and that's not the responsibility of the land
the landlord.
at the landlord. So, I'll leave you with that. In terms of, just to remind council, at the last council meeting, there was a document, report from staff outlining the implications and what council's past practice has been related to issues like that, as the mayor alluded to. There is a policy in place, so I don't have the authority to strike it off the rolls, so to speak. Council could consider and has considered similar incidences in the past. Just to give you an indication, there's probably upwards of 150 billings that are done throughout the town related to protective services, whether it's fire or law enforcement or the like. So this would leave council with a significant precedent in terms of other individuals coming in. So there is a significant financial exposure to council making and providing any relief. That being said, I would advocate the council that given the timing of information not getting from the insurer and the like, that penalties be struck if the proponent would be willing to enter a repayment agreement. So I would be recommending the council that we're not looking for the money today, but if you're interested and willing to enter a repayment plan, then penalties would, I would recommend the council penalties cease as long as that payment plan was adhered to.
That I can see possibly doing, but also at the same time, I want to make sure that the amount is lower. Because $7,700 is definitely way too high.
Yep, and that's based on our policy, that's the level of resourcing that
Yeah,
went out.
I'll do that for you guys to review,
Right.
and then whoever to get back to me, and then we can go.
Sure. Anyways, just provide that for council's information.
Yeah, like, okay, so I guess we're getting some of the answer back right away there in terms of whether there is insurance or not, because like I say, I hadn't heard that before, so.
I hadn't either until this happened.
They say the whole thing is covered, but when you come up with policy, when there's, that, the issues is right there, you know, start digging for every little detail for insurance. So that's why we thought it was covered too, right? But into the story, like, you know, they said, oh, first time they said, yeah, they're covered. Then they would go through the policy and they find out they're not covering fire. So
They
We didn't
always
know
look
that,
for a way
so-
not to pay.
we thought the whole thing is covered too as well.
Because the normal print is like, yeah, you have fire and water damage.
But
Okay. But what kind of fire and water damage?
when it comes to this is the issue. So,
I concur with you, insurance policies are written in favor of the insurer, not the insuree.
Absolutely, sadly.
well,
Yeah, that's what it,
Okay, well, thank you for coming in.
no problem. For demolition as well, demolition, the house, you need a permit for that too as well, down here, or just go ahead and do it?
Yes. No,
For, you need a permit, recommend a permit, okay. So we're gonna come to town and get this. Okay, appreciate it.
Well, good luck with the demolition and getting that cleaned up. Oh,
Thank you.
sorry,
that's
you
just,
had a question?
Well, it's more for administration. What is the cutoff for, taxes in calendar year? So like if they get it knocked down in December, does that then reflect the new market value? I'm just trying to give them
Oh, yeah.
a timeline.
I guess at the end of the day, if the delegation was tender, what's called the tax agreement, the deadline's don't matter. We would just honor that, and whatever that tax repayment agreement was, as long as the terms and conditions were met, there would be no penalties applied. If the agreement is violated, you miss a payment or whatever, then it would just go back on the tax roll and it would then be hitting penalties. So I believe it's currently sitting as a receivable.
Yes, sir.
Again, under our policies, it will be rolled over and actually put as a charge against the property roll if it remains unpaid. So hopefully we can get some clarity before.
Yes. That would be perfect.
The other question I think that you were getting at is making sure that it gets assessed at less money for next year.
Right.
How does that, like, I need clarification is how does the assessor get that? Because I know the assessor does not go to every property every year and reassess it. Because of this being a fire, we would notify them that
That's
this.
correct. If there's any significant impairment on any property that the town becomes aware, we would pass on that information to the
Okay.
assessor.
That's what I had hoped would happen, but I want to make sure, yeah.
For sure.
Okay.
All right, well,
Oh,
thank
we
you
have
guys for
one
your
more,
time.
just.
Yes.
Sorry, I mean, I know your fire occurs in the summertime. What was the cause of the fire? I know nothing about this.
Nobody knows.
The fire department, they said something about the furnace, something came started from the furnace. And
Yeah, so I don't know if there's concrete evidence of it, and that's why it took so long even before anyone was allowed inside. Because they had their own assessor, the insurance company brought in their own assessor, and they did their own, and they said undetermined or actual cause of damage. But there's a town, like Dave Martinson, I think he did a report with someone, and they said possibly the furnace.
My reason for asking that was that the next question is, you said that the insurance does say you fire, what kind of fire do they insure then?
They cover the fire, but only at market value, not replacement value. Yes, they still cover your fire damage, but not for replacement. So it could cost, what, let's say a normal two-bedroom house now, 300,000-ish. They said they looked at whatever market value is, and they will only pay you that amount and that's it. So whatever a two-bedroom house is at market value. So market and replacement values are two totally different things.
And then finally, the mayor sort of asked the question, I know you're looking for a lethal reduction. What did you have in mind?
Not at all.
Yeah.
what,
Realistically, how much do I want to lower it down to? I was hoping that I would have to pay like maybe 2,000. Range. I mean, I know I'm asking a lot, but this was definitely not an expense I ever thought I would ever have to pay. Yeah, sadly, I had issues with my own house, primary residence, and whatever damages was in there, it was covered all by insurance, but that was my final.
All right, any other questions? No. Thanks again, and we'll be getting back to you.
okay, thank you very much. Thanks. Have a good evening.
Yes, you too. Awful, yeah.
Usually I was walking on it because man, it hurts. Don't step on a can and cut your toe.
Yeah.
No, come on, guys.
All right, so we don't have any public delegations. I'm wondering where our newspaper is today. A little different. I think it's the first time we haven't had them here in years. They're almost always, huh? I remember the last time, but they're usually in and then go. Anyways, that could be it, yeah.
Hey, Chris.
Yeah, that's right. Move on to our peace officers report. Can I get a motion on this one? Councilor Shisha.
The council receives the senior peace officers October 2023 report for information.
All right, thank you. I'll turn it over to our senior peace officer.
Evening, Mayor, Council. Pretty straightforward. for October, nothing out of the ordinary happened, or one dog picked up, parking unauthorized location, cleaned up a homeless camp in JC Park. So just open to any questions, council may have.
All right, let's open the floor. Any questions? Go ahead, Councillor Waco.
The homeless camp, that, did they just move to another spot in town, or do you know, or were they escorted out of town?
Haven't seen it pop up anywhere, but not to say it hasn't. The gentleman's still around.
Let's hit it better. Yeah, they're getting tricky.
All right, anything else? Go ahead, Councillor Danaka.
How are we, or where are we with the person that was hired? Is he having any luck finding accommodations?
We're back to, advertising again.
Oh, okay,
So we couldn't find a place for him to say that he was happy with?
No, that had nothing to do with, just he had other,
Okay, I thought that was the variable, was just
No,
finding a place. Okay,
unfortunately.
those other factors.
He had other.
Oh, okay.
If I could just offer, the Lavinia camera briefing on, the game plan to deal with that particular position, but ongoing recruitment is occurring. Anyways, I'll have to brief camera.
Okay.
In camera, not necessarily tonight, but, in short order. So we're pursuing options to eventually have a fully staffed peace officer. There may be other transitional measures that have to be considered to make that happen.
That's too bad. Or maybe it's good, I don't know, but it's, yeah, I thought.
We'll never know.
Yeah. Okay, anything else? Councillor Yashishin?
Just to put back to the homeless camp. So did he give any indication of what he needs or what he's looking for in his camp there, but, he's really got nowhere to go, or maybe he didn't have that conversation. I'm just curious to get an idea of what the situation is there.
He has, family members willing to assist him. It's just his prerogative not to take their, what they're willing to offer to do and to help him. We do try to help him
Yeah, sure.
and steer him in the right direction. But
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. No, I'm aware of that. And, yeah, just more curious of how, the people that we have that are homeless, what is their situations? And yeah, I guess just kind of looking forward to how we can help them more. And if we have a better idea that way, maybe there's other options in the future. We can work with that. So, yeah, thanks.
I had a question just regarding your report in the, under unsightly and nuisance this year. To date, we had 45, and last year, 2022, we didn't have any. Just, how come we had none in the year before, and now we got 45? What happened there?
that must be a typo.
Oh, okay.
I'll check back. But yeah, there has to be a number other than zero there.
Yeah, it seems to make sense. That's what I wasn't sure about. I noticed just down below that the municipal, our tickets issued in provincial and municipal was up, but that was because we had the second peace officer around for part of 2023 that wasn't around in 2022
That's correct.
because of the, okay, that's what I was suspecting. Those were my questions. Nothing else? All right.
Thank you.
Well, thank you for coming in, sharing with council. Get back out there and fight crime and or evil.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right. We had a motion to receive his report for information. All in favor? Carried. And moving down then to our minutes. Can I get a motion on this one? 5.1? Councilor Martins?
I move that council approve the minutes from the November 14th, 2023 regular meeting of council as presented.
All right, any changes needed? Go ahead, Councilor Waco.
The only thing was that maybe I didn't make it as a motion there, but I asked that FCSS be asked to comment on what they could come up with for a solution for our homeless situation. And I'm just wondering if that was, has there been an FCSS meeting since then? Was that brought up?
I don't think it was a motion, I think it was
It was
just a discussion to the members to bring that up. Okay, seeing none, all in favor? Carried. Moving on, business arising from the minutes. We have an item there for meeting dates, committee of the whole is one of the items. Can I motion? Councillor Dunn?
The council maintained the existing protocols related to the committee of the whole, meeting dates and time.
All right. And they've got them there. Is everybody all right with those?
Lucy is three of them were 13. And the other one just misses by one.
That's, yeah. That's right.
Part of 13, kind of like goalies.
Okay, any other discussion on this one? We're all good with the dates? All right, all in favor? Carried. Is there anything else out of those minutes that people wanted to ask about? Nope, okay. We also had some coming out of the RMA sort of fall convention, the written report. Can I get a motion on this one? Councilor Dunn?
The council received the report for information.
All right. Anybody have any questions on that? So seeing none, all in favor? Carried. And then moving all the way down our agenda to items 13.1, our CAO's report and action list. Get a motion on this. Councilor Wakefield.
You're welcome. You moved my hand so fast I didn't even see it.
Well, I did see it, I'm sure I did.
Isn't that one?
Did you make it?
I did.
Oh, okay.
You indicated that I made the motion. I said, yeah.
Oh,
Did it so
okay.
fast that you didn't see it.
Oh, okay.
Right?
All right, you're right, yeah.
Oh, quiet as a church mouse as I always am.
All right, so the motion is to be received, is that correct?
Yeah.
For him? Yeah, okay. So we'll turn it over to our CEO, see if there's anything additional you'd like to highlight or anything in addition.
Pleased to do through the chair. The installation of the internet is going well. We're installing today. In this building, it's not lit up, but the internet install is almost done. The same applies to the Rita complex. That doesn't mean it's going to be lit up immediately for there's still significant amounts to do in the arenas related to repeaters and wiring of the booth and all those type of things. So stay tuned, but we're making progress on that. Again, the budget meetings are there. We had a rec committee meeting, which I imagine the members maybe update council at this meeting on. Fire is tomorrow night, and the library board is to be determined still. We'll let you know as soon as that is scheduled. Then the town budget meetings are again this Thursday, starting at 6, and the Saturday. An important item for council to note is staff of Big Lakes County and the external consultant that they retained in relation to water expansion. So there is a little piece in the Peace News this week about the expansion of water to other communities. They've identified the town as potential distribution center and potential source of water. I've asked them to present to council, so they will be at the council meeting of December 12th, providing an overview of what they've been tasked to do. I did bring up the issue of why we're not a full partner in that collaborative study, and they consider us a stakeholder, not a full participation partner. So council may be interested in what explanation is provided on that, but anyways, the consultants will be attending the December 12th meeting, giving an overview of what they've been retained to do through an ACP grant involving Big Lakes County, Smoky River, and Greenview County. But they have targeted infrastructure in the town as a potential solution for their project. So that being said, I think that concludes the major items of my report.
All right, so with that, is there any questions, comments, or CAO? Go ahead, Councillor Danaka.
I just have a question. With the onboarding with the new IT system, I'm having issues getting into my town emails. It wants me to log in, and I've logged in with my password, and then it says, comes up and says, work. And I put in counselor, I put in town counselor. I don't know if there was something else in there, but we have to bring it to you to figure it out. I don't know if their issues are connected or if it's some glitch in the matrix.
Let me
Okay,
start.
Yeah.
So there will be some growing pains here. So concurrently with the onboarding of the new vendor, we're also simultaneously upgrading firewalls, other infrastructure that is in need of repair and replacement. There's a significant backload of network stuff that has to be done. So you will see in the capital budget this year some additional funds to upgrade our network infrastructure. So not getting too technical, but when the firewalls were put in, every time they reboot our servers or do something at their end, we do not have a static IP address. So that basically stops the transmission of data to your phones. So that is being rectified and should be rectified. I believe it has been rectified.
Yeah.
The issue is resetting your own personal devices. So if you bring them in, Canada would be pleased to assist in that area. So we'll be, when we do the capital budget this year and the operating budget, we'll be sort of saying, here's the pains to be expected are coming down, but there are some deficiencies, and even though we transitioned from the former firm, as soon as that sort of cutoff date happened, the level of cooperation between the two vendors disintegrated. Right. So there's some holes that we're trying to delve. From my perspective, and Shanda can speak on her perspective, the firm we're dealing with is excellent. They got good cycle times. They know what the issues are, and they're plugging away and trying to be as responsive as they can. But there will be a few little hiccups along the way. So
I was dealt with quickly.
And I was then had the issues too. I wasn't receiving any emails on the weekend from the town, and then on, what was I in here for? On Monday, all of a sudden I was sitting here and like 23 emails came through from the town. It was like, oh, okay, that's where they all are, because I was in asking for, how come we didn't get our agenda? I was like, well, we sent it. And well, no, I didn't get it. And then,
I couldn't even get to the email.
Yeah.
For,
exactly, I tried.
until yesterday, yesterday.
Yep, and that was the same with me after, in the afternoon yesterday, I tried again to get on my webmail and it finally came up yesterday, so it was, yeah, there was issues there for a bit.
It explains mine too then. But I couldn't send, well, no, I guess I wasn't receiving it.
Yeah.
Because I didn't get the same as you did, but I wasn't able to send out either. It was coming back,
Yeah.
almost like a firewall, so that explains mine.
Through the chair, there's one other item I just update council on is, boil water, the limited boil water advisory, on the areas 56, 57, 50, 55. Hand singles are always great because I forget the numbers. So we have sent the second and third samples to health. We have verbal commitments that the order should be lifted, but until we get written confirmation. So hopefully that will arrive tomorrow, and all the test results so far have been no issues. So hopefully we do get the written notification that's required once an order has been issued, and the limited ban can be lifted. I apologize and talk to staff. In future boil water advisories, we will be providing a map of what's in the affected area and what's not in the affected area. So there was some confusion about, is this side of the street in or not? So we will in future be providing mapping of all areas. As I can't remember if I articulated this in the email, but all the affected homeowners did receive walk around notices on Sunday. So they're aware, and everyone's sort of staying tuned. Correct.
It's interesting that that particular water main break resulted in boil water advisories, but we've had other water breaks and we haven't had boil water advisories. What was different with this one that ended up resulting in boil water advisory?
There's no, the major differential was what's considered a main transmission line rather than a feeder line. So the issue is Alberta Health Services, depending on who's responding, it's the individual inspector's call. And that's, hard reality. So there is, we had the two ministries, one recommending that not be issued, but Alberta Health Services can override transportation and environment, and Alberta Health Services can issue low water advisory until they're satisfied with the sampling that their office receives. So that, in a nutshell, is there's no clear guidelines on when a water boil advisory happens based on a water break. If they're, they will look at the looping of the system, but, some inspectors from Alberta Health Services saying, no, we're just issuing it as a, and it was issued purely as a precautionary measure. And that's what the order is. We like a water boil advisory for precautionary purposes only until sampling says we don't need it. So, that's the height. The town could appeal that order. Probably not a good practice to do, but there is an appeal process, but that wouldn't result in the water going on any sooner for the residents either. So that's, doesn't really answer your question, but it's
No, it does. It's hit and miss depending on who's inspecting it.
Right.
That's,
so, it's
get that.
Alberta Health Services given, you know, their mandate is to protect personal health, right? They don't really care about the infrastructure issues and sampling, so until they get their required sampling, now they've taken a cautionary approach.
Okay, thank you for that. Anything else? Councillor Wakefield?
Just looking on your, action list there, the, event road closure policy. And that was, not yet, I'm taking it, I didn't see it.
We've done some preliminary work. The good news is, we have confirmed that our insurer will provide third-party insurance to not-for-profits and the like. That's good news for everyone. And they will offer that extension to our policy. It would mean the community group would still have to pay a modest fee, but way below what is available on the commercial market. So that once we have that finalized, the policy can be brought back, so.
Well, that's good news. Yeah, so it's,
Yeah, and street closures and all those things.
Yeah.
So just as an aside, just anecdotal, why this is a big issue, and I'll bring you a little summary when I do back to reports. In the last 4 years, there's been $32 million in Alberta paid out in claims related to third-party insurance coverages at municipal facilities. So that's what's been paid out by the insurer. So you can see there's a high degree of risk of not asking for third-party insurance related to some events. On all our rental facilities, all renters are required to provide third-party insurance to cover the town for liability in addition to their own responsibilities. So for instance, any leagues that are renting ice time, they have liability coverage that protects the town. So we're co-insured with them and their own insurer, and we're sharing the potential liability. Without it, the town's going to carry 100% of the liability. Anyways, that's just an anecdotal update.
All right, Councillor Tanaka?
I'm sure this just a typo. The direct administration green grant schedule 2024 committee of the whole meetings, which we just discussed, and says RFP on council agenda November 28th. Is that today? What am I thinking? I'm thinking this is the first council meeting of the, never mind, strike that. My apologies.
It's recorded. You
Yeah.
can't strike it. It's there.
What's in that lollipop?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly,
Yeah.
no kidding. It's something in the water.
Yeah, it's gummy bears, I think, yeah. Okay, anything else for a CAO? Seeing none, we had the motion to receive for information. All in favor? Carried. And moving on to our addition, which was item 14.1, the McSteel letter. We'll maybe turn it over, well, we won't make a motion at this point until we know what it's all about a little bit more. I haven't really even had a chance to read it, but maybe I can ask our CAO just to give a quick rundown of what they're asking for here.
And please, through the chair. So they're looking to install signage on town property. To date, the town council has not approved any policies which would allow private businesses or the like to install signage, promotional materials, and the like on town property. We must ask the peace officer to stay behind. That being said, we continually have issues with businesses in town putting portable signage and the like on their right of way, but it, in some cases, impinges on the municipal right of way, and that is problematic for the peace officer already. At the end of the day, it's really a council issue, whether you want to entertain having a policy that would allow signage on town property or not, and if that's the case, you can ask administration to report back on it. There are significant downsides of allowing that. So Reseal has requested they be granted the right to do that without the policy considerations being in place. There's no provisions in our land use bylaw that, or other policies of council to currently allow it. So this is really just a feeler for council to see what direction they wish to move on this type of request. And again, this is putting the signage on the town property, which is the kitty corner of 2 and Railway Avenue, where the flower bed is located. So that would be prominently on town property. And if that is council's wishes, you can expect numerous requests for signage throughout the town.
Go ahead.
I was just gonna ask, so what does the sign look like? Like I'm just seeing, because it says the sign will highlight our role in the community and encourage residents to support local businesses, but then it also says that it will show or serve to inform details about our services and community initiatives. So I was thinking it was like a wooden sign, and now I'm reading this, I'm thinking, is it a flashing? Like a neon type sign that there's the information going across it? I'm just curious, about what it would look like.
And that level of detail hasn't been
Okay.
provided by the applicant yet.
Yeah,
The applicant
Okay.
has been advised if, we bring it forward to council
Mhm.
for reconsideration. At the end of the day, there's nothing in our land use bylaw that permits it, so that would have to go to land use planning commission. But before it gets to the planning commission, this council either want to entertain it or not.
is the
In
question.
the absence of a policy,
Mhm.
I would not advise council to take action in the absence of a policy. That's basically where I'm coming from.
And I'm kind of thinking ahead that if it's not in this location, would they request another location? Possibly. That is town, right there, where the town sign is there, but it's not in the right of way. They're actually talking about over.
There is no town signage on that.
Oh, I
on
see.
that site.
Okay.
It's just the
Okay.
flower beds that are
Oh, okay,
on that site. The town signage is
over. I'm trying
further
to
down
picture
Highway
it.
2.
Okay, no, thanks for clarification.
So, yeah, I like the idea of maybe asking administration to come back with a sign policy so that, we can, what are the pros and the cons and, where would we, what would we entertain, what wouldn't we entertain? I like that idea because, yeah, off the top of my head right now, I can, I can see issues with allowing one company, because then the next company that's just thought, well, I want to put a sign here to advertise my business down a block, and everything along the highway would get congested in a big hurry. So I can see issues with that, and maybe a policy that would guide businesses on what we would and wouldn't do would be, I think, a good way to go. And I'm sure there's lots in other communities, so we can just maybe go and steal something and have more of a lengthy discussion once we've got something, I guess, more in front of us. Okay, so I'll make that motion to direct administration to come back with a sign policy to council. And then we can decide on this particular request after administration's had some time and we have some time to think about it.
directed on town property, because the land use bylaw currently has regs related to signage on private property, but not on town property.
Town property, okay, yeah, I'll add that in.
So, yeah, I'm happy with your motion, Engineer. The question is, along the lines of the previous, query, how are they going to, how is community engagement going to factor into the sign? Other than advertising, promotional vehicles, if they talk about, hey, this is, community engagement, I don't know how that, understand more, how are they going to community?
I'll reach out to them to get some clarification on.
I thought it was going to be both.
Again, I'll be reporting back, but that particular site, there really is no, it's vehicle drive-through visible. There's no sidewalks there, so I don't know how they would necessarily achieve this. So I'll ask for clarification.
Just a comment on the plus side of it, you see how much scrap metal they've been collecting from farms in and around the area and homes and everything else. And they're cleaning up our region very nicely, because man, there is a lot of stuff coming into it. And, yeah, so it's good to see that areas are getting cleaned up.
So just if I could, just for council's information, they're currently employing 27 individuals at their facility and looking to hire more.
That's a major employer now. Councilor Danaka.
So in their letter, they kindly request an opportunity to discuss this proposal further and address any concerns or questions. So I guess my question is, because we've had questions about what kind of signage are you talking about, blah, 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 blah. So I guess my question is, should we have them come in or should we wait till we have a policy?
In my thinking is that we should probably think about what we would allow before we, if we're not going to allow it, then having them come in and explain, we're kind of wasting their time.
Okay,
So I would think knowing what we would accept and then
Okay.
based on that, maybe, if we'll put it in under certain circumstances. Okay, what would this look like? Would we accept it? Would it fit in with our policy that the sign has to be this big? And it has to be this far off the road and, those kinds of things. Councilor Eustisio?
I was just gonna add, it's, yeah, like you say, we need more detail there, but, yeah, like community initiatives, they've obviously put some thought to it, so, and quite detailed, actually, but yeah, community initiatives, information, it's all really positive stuff there, so we get to have them come in and hear a little bit more on that for sure.
Okay, we have the motion to come back. All in favor? Okay, that's carried. And we'll move on to our reports. Councilor Danaka.
no report.
All right, Councilor Dunn.
Actually have residual stuff from last that I didn't make. Chairperson because I stepped back because of my email transfer frequently. So that's that. And then I was at the Children's Resource Council yesterday. Again, just more seeing how they're working with the community and other communities as well as the lake, and some of the major communities and stuff. Sorry. And it is, there's things coming down the road that we have to make decisions on, but it is, it's since, we've changed, CEOs, it has been a really, a lot of growth. And so, that's one of the things that we'll be looking at down the road is how do we keep our existing contractors or, the people that we present their programming and stuff, and how we maintain those as well as, meeting some of the demands that for other programming that's been coming in. So that's pretty much it. Yeah. I will move my report as, for information.
All right, any questions, comments for Councillor Dunn? I don't see any, so I'll call the vote, all in favor? It's carried. Councillor Martins?
No report to present.
All right, for myself, I had, well, a few meetings. One, since our last one, we had a Heart River Housing meeting. The big thing on that one was the budget discussion for them. They, oh boy, I should have brought my notes from that. There was an increase in the budget. Most of the increase was, a lot of it was due to utility rates going up. That was a big hit. Food costs have went up. That was and then they were looking at some cost of living increase. So there was an increase in there. It wasn't, I wish I could remember the percentage. I can't. But overall, it wasn't that much, especially they are looking to get the assessments. And then have they presented the budget? No, okay. They were gonna come up with the assessments from for all of the participating municipalities, divide it up and then say, this is what it'll be on the town. And as we all know, the big contributor to that based on assessment rates is Greenview. They pay the lion's share of those costs. So that was one thing. They've been collecting some fees on behalf of, oh man, my brain's just disappearing here. One of the lodges by the Ridge Valley, there it is. And now Ridge Valley was having some issues with being able to meet the requirements of the government to receive that. So they, as a Heart River Housing, they notified them that they weren't going to be giving them the requisitions that were collected on their behalf because they haven't met the government requirements. And if they don't, that could end up with a fairly, a significant reduction in the rates for the town too. So there's that variable there that is out there that hopefully then, I don't want to say that we don't supply them or collect requisitions on their behalf because I think they might need it or could always use it, but they have to meet the government requirements. They haven't been, so we may not be collecting it, and then that way a requisition would be stable, if not going down a little bit from Heart River Housing's perspective. I was also at the Northern Alberta Elected Leaders meeting in Grand Prairie, and it was a fairly good one. We had quite a few people give reports, like Mr. Rob Barron, the Executive Director for Alberta Health Services, talked about, and he was the same fellow that was here giving a report, sort of an update on emergency medical services, where they were at. They have reduced wait times in the hospitals and stuff. They're coming up with other plans for how to transport, just doing medical transports from facility to facility. So they've been successful in freeing up a lot more ambulance times. They're happy with where it's going, still room to go. They're still having challenges staffing. They're talking about a 30% staffing shortage in that area. You know, so they're still working on that, and they're working on all kinds of different strategies on what might work and what won't. They're looking at being able to take emergency medical responders, EMRs, in ambulances again, you know, as a sort of a second person on, and they haven't been allowing that before, and they're putting them back in. So there's lots of little things to try and meet that staffing shortage that they're putting in. And I think he talked about, when he was here, putting in a housing allowance, a little bonus if you're coming to some of the north. So they really seem to be doing some things to try and meet that staffing shortage, which is good. We had several MLAs there. MLA Long from Yellowhead West. I mean, he was talking a lot about health issues and what AHS is doing. Talked a little bit about their restructuring plan. You know, that they're looking at developing 13 advisory councils, and so yeah, trying to get more regional input. So all of it sounds really good, but of course the devil will be in the details, and we'll learn more as the province gets that unfolded. But, so something to wait and see. MLA Williams out of the Peace River area. Talked about they've been successful in getting some strategies for looking at the release of the prisoners in Peace River, and trying to make sure they're getting out. He talked a little bit about the treatment of people with addictions issues, and the new looking at the policy where they would be have to get treatment if they're deemed a hazard to themselves or others. We had MLA Lowen talk with us a little bit, talked about you know, the fires and all of the issues that they've had with that, and some of the strategies that they're looking at provincially to try and be better prepared for next fire season. And there was a lot of different things they were trying. They're trying to get some of the fire crews on earlier. They're quite worried with El Nino and maybe not as much precip this particular winter, that the fire hazard in the spring is going to be really high again. So they're really trying to make sure that the bombers are coming earlier and all of those kinds of things. So they're very aware of it, working on it. We had an MLA from Grand Prairie. He talked mostly about projects in Grand Prairie, which wasn't that crucial for me. MLA Weave out of Grand Prairie Wapiti. There was lots of, he talked a little bit about some on fires too. He sort of piggybacked a little bit on what MLA Lowen was talking about, and getting volunteers to be able to fight fires and some of the changes there. Oh, what else did we have? Yeah, so that was it. Our MLA did not show up for that one. Just a note, we had there was the Northern Alberta Elected Leaders is applying on a grant that would bring the provincial MLAs, and they wanted to fly them up to high level and then drive them back down through the north, so they get a feel. Put them on a bus and drive them down, so they get an idea when you're talking about, any of the issues in the north, they get a real feel for it, right? It's not like, if you're in high level to get to Grand Prairie, it's not, it's not the next big city you can just jump to. It's a big commitment. And you don't really realize that until you live it, right? And you drive and you go,
Put them on a school bus.
exactly, yeah. So they actually are applying on a grant to see if they can make that happen. And, give them and then you've got their ear all the way down. You've got them so we thought it was a great idea that we can get that. We'll see. I don't know if they'll get the money to do that, but that was.
When the county was the MD, they used to do something similar. They take one of the buses around, and it was a tour of the MD, and they take them up and down the roads, and some of those roads were pretty rough.
Yeah.
And and I think that is a phenomenal idea to don't dodge the potholes. Make sure you hit every single one of them. To get their attention.
So, yeah, we'll see. I mean, it was one of the ideas that came forward. We met, that's what we were here yesterday for. That was the meeting with the Minister of Environment. We met with that, yeah. And we talked about the two issues that was identified. One is our land across the highway, and MLA Lowen was in on it, or Minister Lowen was also in on that, and he had a good suggestion, and he's actually, I'll forward you the email, but he knows of a company that can actually reduce the costs of reclaiming land by injecting what was it, like a chemical into the land that'll get rid of the hydrocarbons. And so microbiomes or so, I'm not even quite sure. It was first I'd heard of it, and the company that he had suggested, he had sent them an email, and I was noticing before I came tonight that they'd sent an email to me saying, hey, I got this note from Minister Lowen, and here's a little bit about us, like to meet and talk. So we do need to meet with ESSO, and maybe this is going to be a good option that they would consider to open or to reclaim that site. We also talked about, my mind is going. The what? Oh, regional water, yeah, exactly. Just to say, you know what, we know that we've got a reduced water in our region, like the water supply with the lack of water coming down the river could be an issue in the future. So, was there any money available for doing a study to see where we can get it? We talked about a study that we had quite a while ago that with the county that we bring water from the lake, channel it in, but that never went anywhere, and the costs and some of the issues. So we need to sort of look at what's a realistic plan B, because it might be getting to us sooner rather than later with all this climate change issues that we're facing. And then last but not least was the meeting this afternoon, or this morning, on recreation. Did a little bit about where we were at with recreation, talked about, I guess I can say that most of the facilities are getting better usage than they did last year, which was a good sign. They talked, the arena during prime time is getting 100% at the Sports Palace side. It's getting 87% or 80% during at the Gordon Buchanan much usage during the non-prime hours. But, pool was getting used a little bit more, so all of those things were fairly good. That was a fairly quick part of it, was an overview of some of the usages. And then we got into the budget discussion. And the budget, I think we had an increase in that one, and then there was lots of questions around what was the increases for, and administration gave a very good overview of here's what the increases are for and why, and eventually we got to a point where we made the motion to recommend it to the rec budget committee, so that they could get a look at it, but the county reps still had some questions and some issues that they wanted to ask about, before that they were really happy and could support the budget, I guess is the way to put it.
Administration.
Yeah.
Both administrations are gonna work together on those
Yeah,
questions.
so the counselors will identify what questions that they had. They'll bring it to their CEO, who will filter it through to our administration, get back to them with answers on that. So yeah, that's my report. Move it for information. Any questions? Go ahead, Councilor Wade.
I didn't talk much this afternoon, so I'm doing it now. So the province is gonna bring back the regional advisory committees again. Am I understanding that right?
Well, they're looking at sort of 16 of them, or no, developing 13 advisory councils around the province.
Which I think is exactly what they had before, until they got mad at them and dissolved all of them. Whatever, just goes around, comes around. So we're just.
Yeah, and I've heard lots of good things about having those regional boards. They actually had some good input and they had some say. So if they are boards that do have some input and some say and can get things done, that'll be good. They did talk a little bit about all the good things that a centralized system had, but they're still gonna have sort of a centralized body with it. And so hopefully we can keep the good things with centralization and the good things that came from decentralization, and having those advisory boards that could have some more input in on it, where, I mean, they've got the one system province-wide that everybody can, it doesn't matter where you go, they can get your information from, right? It doesn't matter which hospital you're in, the systems all talk to each other now where they didn't before. So there was lots of good things that came out of some of that, so.
Is that just me? No, it's the tin foil you get from.
Sorry, it was, sure that static was, okay, so everybody hears that.
Yeah.
All right. Establishing my sanity.
All right, any other questions? Seeing none, all in favor? All right. And Councilor Wakefield.
You touched on the rec board stuff.
Yeah,
this
feel
afternoon.
free to supplement it.
Yeah, there's really nothing to supplement there. It was a vigorous discussion this morning. Leave it at that. A good discussion. They had some good questions. That will continue to be answered. This past weekend, I attended the Peace Library System meeting in Grand Prairie. It was basically the AGM. The executive all remains basically the same. They brought us up to date on some of the budget stuff. There's going to be some increase on their end. There's some renovations that need to be done to the building. The boiler system is the original one from '89, I think, when they built it. The windows are the same windows, so they're looking to improve those things and then hopefully recoup costs somewhat with well, there was some concern with, one library wasn't, there was confusion with how the system was working, it seemed, there wasn't, everything not being shared properly, and it's all working good now. And then I attended their Christmas party, which was, fun, lots of fun. So, that's that. The library system is operating well, and I will move my report for commission.
Questions, comments? All in favor? And last but not least, Councillor Yashishi.
So I attended the ministers' meeting yesterday, it seems like 2 days ago, but, and, I think it was good, bringing up, our contaminated site across the road again, just to bring in awareness, make sure that they're aware that, as everywhere, I'm sure, has sites, we do have the site here. It was interesting to hear that option, as Mayor mentioned, and if anything, to speed up, the getting rid of the contamination, which takes many, many years to do. If anything would speed that up, that was very interesting. Availability of water, that was good too. It's, unlike, many communities, I'm sure down south, good to bring awareness, for us as well here because, we're being proactive by utilizing or having on hand, maybe not utilizing, but having on hand smaller pumps in times to aid in bringing the water forward. I see the reservoir is like full right up right now, so that's great to see there. So, but yeah, being proactive, looking into the future, a study, if something's done, is very important to look forward to that. Look forward to the future, if indeed that we need options available to us there for that. The other meeting I had was FCSS, and that was today or this morning. They basically, it was just an update with the manager's report. This mostly information was coming out of there. They kind of brought to attention was the seniors buddy system. It was down volunteers there for a bit. Now there's 6 people registered for the program and 6 people that they have in the buddy system as volunteers. So that was really good to see and very beneficial, especially in the winter months. The Christmas Angels they touched on is a very active program that's got going right now. Same with the food cupboards, they moved them inside. One kind of gets vandalized a little bit there, but just with the cold, well, it hasn't been that cold, but with the cold, they've moved a few of them inside there as well, and they're continuing to being utilized a fair bit there. I guess I should bring up, I guess one of the things that we're looking at was, and this comes up quite often, is the bus and the utilization of the bus. It's utilized a fair bit, it's like 62% utilization for within the town of Hyde, which shows that there's a need for that service there. But also there was some discussion on what the town puts in or what we contribute for money versus, I guess, what the county does or what they do there. So I guess just for something in the future, I said I would make a note of it in my report. But there may be something coming in the future about that, or further than that in the future. So just to be aware about that. Otherwise, the Christmas hamper deliveries for Christmas is going to be on the 19th, and that's at JCA in Tucson, and I'll be helping out with that there on that day, and I look forward to that day there. So that's my report, and I move for information.
All right, thank you. Any questions, comments? All in favor? That is carried. So with that, meeting is adjourned.